Hey, everybody, welcome back to Red Road Paranormal Podcast. My name is Christina Bloom. I am a professional psychic and paranormal investigator with Adirondack Park Paranormal Society. I am also an Alaskan Native descendant, still trying to trace down those roots, but I am not tribally affiliated. What you got, Rez?
Hi, I'm Bobby Rez and Calkins. I'm a member of the Stockbridge Munsee Tribe, Band of Mohicans. I'm a paranormal investigator and a cryptid investigator with a Wisconsin-based team, Cryptids Anomalies in the Paranormal Society. Today, we have a very special guest here with us, all the way from Alaska. We have Guy Berestoff. Did I pronounce that right, Guy?
Yeah, Berestoff.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Guy?
Um, my name is Frank Berestoff. Everyone calls me Guy. I am a descendant of Portlock, where I come from. My people come from. Right now, we live in Nunwallik. It's a little ways past Portlock. The show that I was on was Alaskan Killer Bigfoot.
Awesome. What was it like to be on an actual TV show, going out and to do something like this?
It was hard. uh, Exciting but hard. We couldn't. I want to say, um, express our feelings as much as we wanted.
Okay.
We had to kind of hold everything back.
I think that makes sense, though. I mean, because, they're putting it out as a TV show, so they
Yeah,
want to present a specific type of um, environment, or what was the word I'm looking for?
A narrative.
A narrative, an atmosphere. So um, I watched the first two episodes, and then I started getting drowsy last night, so I didn't quite get to your episode. But what was you had camera crews out there, right? So they were following you around. And
yeah.
was it as scary as it looked?
I I I'm one of those awkward kind of people where I'll find comfort in scary places. So
Okay, I like that.
Me
it
too.
was scary for most of the crew, but what I seen was beauty and peace and you know just blessed to be down there.
Awesome. Yeah, I know, like, when I'm out in the woods, I'm more comfortable out in the woods anytime, day or night, alone or with anybody. It doesn't matter. And where, like you said, a lot of people would find things scary, where I find the peace in it. I find the beauty in it.
I do
Yeah.
You
too.
know.
Yeah, I'd rather be out in the woods alone than on a city street alone. That's-
Yeah, any
Yeah.
given day of the week.
I
Oh
feel
yeah.
safer in the woods. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, up there in Alaska, you guys have a different name for Bigfoot. That would
Yeah.
be Nook, right? Am I saying that
Yeah.
right? Yeah, I've since I heard that name for him, I fell in love with it. I actually, there's times we're out on investigations myself. I'll use that name, or the other one I like using would be Sitonga. You know, otherwise I've referred to Bigfoot as, the big hairy brother. Because he's from the woods, and in a lot of the native cultures, he's believed to be a protector of the woods, and basically a lost tribe, not necessarily say. So, how does your tribe and your cultures up there look at Bigfoot? You know,
Uh, so far, what I've gathered was he was a some of the people called him a demon of the forest. You know, some called him protector of the forest land. Um, what I've seen and felt was curious, like just seeing what we're doing.
Wanting to know what you're about, huh?
Yeah,
And that goes along with a lot of different reportings of Bigfoot, even down in this area. They seem to be pretty curious about, why we're out here and why we're in the woods and why we're out doing what we're doing.
yeah,
It seems like a common theme.
yeah. Growing up, I was told, if you do see Bigfoot, don't bother him. It's just seeing what you're doing, making sure that you're not doing anything bad to the land or anything. So whenever we seen him, we just kind of glanced at him and then looked away and did what we were doing. We didn't, make a big deal or anything.
I like that you said it that way because it makes it almost feel like a normal thing. And around here, of course, I live near Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but whenever somebody has any type of interaction, there's just like, "Oh my God, did you see that? Did you see? Oh my God, did you see that?" And it's, where you're just like, "Oh, hey, have a nice day." I
Yeah,
really prefer that because, I would be kind of freaked out if every time somebody saw me, they had that reaction to me.
yeah,
Well, don't they? Don't they already?
Well,
I
some
thought they
people
did.
do. It's only you, Rez.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh God, what's she up to now?
Right. Oh, right.
My brother from another mother.
Yep. If you haven't noticed, we're joking. We like to have fun.
Yeah,
I don't know about if the cultures are the same up there, but I know down here, a lot of the native cultures, we find laughter in a lot of things. We tease each other. That's, common play,
yeah.
yeah,
you know. And I like it because it toughens up, the skins of our youth and those of us that we joke and play around with. We don't mean it out of harm, but it kind of gets them ready for when they go out into the big cities and go deal with some of the other people that are a little more rude, let's say.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are some of those.
You know,
Um, I had a whole bunch of questions about this whole phenomenon around the filming, and part of it was, did they accurately represent the history of the town?
Yeah. Actually, they came down to fine lining everything. They did their research and asked questions about to the elders and made sure that we followed, well, not followed, but tried to stay in the same guidelines as what they were saying.
Okay. Because when you're watching a TV show, if you're not part of it or you don't know someone in it, you kind of wonder like how much are they embellishing. So I was just curious about how accurate they were with the history of the town of Portlock. And um, now I have another question because I always come over the fun questions. So is your feeling that the people who had died out there, do you think that that was, I don't know how to say this, Nanticat? How am I
Nancy
saying?
Nook.
Nantinook. Yeah, I'm saying that wrong. I wrote it down wrong. Um, do you feel that Nantinook is actually the cause of those deaths, or do you have a different theory? Like from like in the 1970s or way back when?
Well, to be dead honest, like it was a time where all sorts of people were coming in, to work at the cannery and at the logging, or even going for coal or uh, chrome. The chrome bay was just right outside, and who knows? From what I've understood was it could have been anything from a Wendigo to a werewolf to well, a skinwalker,
Hmm.
uh, to even the the like the show says is Killer Bigfoot. I mean,
Hmm.
I've never come across a Bigfoot that wanted to harm me, you know.
Right.
But this was during the time where they're using the land for fishing and cutting down trees and digging big holes in the rocks, taking mineral uh, minerals out of the land. So they kind of felt like they had to protect.
Okay. All of that makes sense to me. And then the other aspect that nobody is actually saying is it could have been people doing that to each other.
Yeah.
You know?
You know,
So, yeah.
yeah, I know I'd be pretty salty if I was out in the woods in my nice peaceful land, paradise on earth, and people were coming in, start screwing it up, cutting things down, blowing things up, and then taking my food supply. Yeah, I'd be pretty ticked off too. So
Yeah.
I could see both sides of it. If that was, the case, why he would be pretty upset or why they would be pretty upset, because you're basically kicking down their front door and screwing up their life,
Yeah.
and so have you personally seen Bigfoot himself or Nanti Nook himself?
I have a few times.
Nice.
When I was younger, I've seen him when I was fishing with my people. We were doing a round towel for egg take. It's something that we do to help keep the salmon population. We send the eggs out to get them incubated and then uh, plant them back in the lakes. And
Nice.
I want to say that was my first time, like, ever actually seeing Lentinuk in person. Like, I heard stories, and I was like, he doesn't, his not real. You know, uh, and then one day we're just cruising along the lake, and I glanced up, and there's four of us in the boat, and we seen what looked to be like a big black bear, like a huge black bear. And then we watched it for a little bit, and then 2 seconds after we like all noticed it. It stood up on 2 feet and took 2, 3 steps from the beach to the bushes, and it was gone.
Wow, that is big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 steps. That's a long stride.
Yeah, that's pretty common with a lot of the reports, that long stretch stride that, matter of a second or two, he's gone or they're gone, you know. So
There
that's
must
pretty
be more
cool.
than one. I mean,
Yeah.
there isn't like one of those, that is Nanticoke in Alaska and skunk ape in Florida and Sasquatch in Wisconsin. I mean, there's got to be more than one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm gonna move real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. So you spend a lot of time out in the woods then nowadays, or?
Yeah, I take my kids out. I take my kids out to teach them, the way of the land, and try to get them to understand that, we also are in charge of the lands.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely caretakers of the land for sure. Stewards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that we gotta really teach all our youth. Say, if we don't take care of Mother Earth or Turtle Island, however you want to look at it, we're not going to have it. And the human population has done a lot to destroy this land.
Yeah.
And that's why we have so many different races of animals and all that die off because they don't have their natural habitats anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking a lot of reasons why we're seeing more and more of these Bigfoot sightings or Nanticoke sightings is because of the fact that we're destroying the homelands for them, and they're traveling looking for new homelands, migrating for food sources, whatever the case may be. But because it's not all wooded areas anymore, they have to cross populations.
Yeah.
What is the population density where you live? Is there a lot of people, or is it like small towns here and there?
Uh, in the village that I live in, we're a little over 300 people,
Okay. So small
close to
towns.
four. Yeah.
Okay.
Small communities.
Yeah.
And then like 4 miles from us is our sister village, our other relatives, and that's Port Graham.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So is that about the same size? I'm just trying to, like, I don't know. It just seems like where we live, humans just keep expanding and building and expanding and building. And I'm just wondering if it's the same where you live or if that's pretty much kept under control.
Um, I believe it was a I don't like how you're running things, so I'm gonna move over here, start my own village.
Okay.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah.
I believe that's how it went. What my hearing from my elders is, two brothers fought, and one was going this way, in life, and the other one was teaching this way, and they just separated the villagers, and that's
People,
how it
yeah,
became.
Yeah, that seems to be the way a lot of it goes.
yeah,
People with different mindsets, they can't get along and they separate and divide, and before you know it, everything's starting to grow up.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I got a question for you now. Bigfoot, Nanticoke. Do you think he's flesh and blood? Do you think he is interdimensional? What's your take on him?
That's what I
Because
was going to ask.
everyone's got either the science, flesh and blood, or the woo camp of interdimensional. What's your thoughts on this?
I used to think that he was a fresh flesh and blood, but after hanging out with Ron White for one episode of the show, he actually like opened my kind of like opened the door to where there's a possibility he's a inter like a
Interdimensional. Yeah.
yeah like a different being than us. Like he could absorb into the trees and you know all that other stuff. It's like kind of makes sense because the stories we had heard growing up were we could see Bigfoot, but when we would chase him or follow him, we would lose track. You know,
Yeah.
it give good footprints, maybe 15, 20 feet, and then disappear. It's like how does something that big disappear? You know?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I have to
Yeah.
say that makes more sense to me than they're hiding somewhere because, first of all, they're huge. It can't be
Yeah.
easy to hide when you're that big, you know? Plus, I mean, people don't find like Bigfoot skeletons, or do
Yeah.
they?
Mm,
Yeah. As far as I
I've
know,
never,
there's never been one.
Yeah.
yeah,
What'd you say, Guy?
I've never ran into any monster sized bones before. So I mean,
Yeah.
I run the woodlands in my around my village, so we could
Yeah.
identify a moose, a bear, a wolf, you know, but
Yeah.
we never came across anything huge like that.
Right. Yeah, I know a lot of time I've spent out in the woods. I've never came across any huge bones or anything that I could even think that was out of the ordinary.
Right.
But then again, the ecosystems I know will uh, a dead body or a dead body of anything will decompose, go back into the ground. Other animals will feast off it, so they don't last long. So if you were to find something like that, it had to be pretty fresh, I think.
Or
Yeah.
buried deep or frozen or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, gosh, it was about 10 days ago. I was in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan and I was staying with a friend. A bunch of us were all staying at the same location. And just outside the window of the building that I was in, I was hearing what I've heard on recordings as Bigfoot calls. So and I'm there with somebody else and going, "Do you hear that?" And they're like, "No." Apparently, I was the only one who heard it, but it sounded like it was right outside the window. It was really loud. And that, I mean, it's a pretty forested area up there too, and there's a river right there. And, other people have seen um, the Sasquatch up there. And so, yeah, I thought that was kind of cool though that I could hear it. I didn't see it, didn't smell anything funky, but I heard it. So,
Nice.
yeah, very recently too. So that's kind of fresh in my memory.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we growing up, we were able to hear them, Bigfoot around where we were,
mm-hmm.
but we weren't like ever able to see them. And now an elder, one of the elders that I really, really looked up to, he taught me everything. Uh, he said, whenever you go out into the woods, don't expect to see anything. That is the best way for him to, pop out and say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know.
I like
Right.
that.
So
I like that.
before I hit the trails, I clear my mind, you know, get it, get the thought of seeing Bigfoot or Luntinuk out of my mind. It's just going to be a regular day. I'm going to walk the trail and go up and pick berries and do some fishing, and what happens happens. So
I
it
like that.
always it always helped.
Nice. I'll have to try that. It's a little bit different than what I do when I go out in the woods. When I go out, first thing I do is I drop some tobacco, let them know that I'm there in peace and harmony, and I'm there to honor everyone. But I always put out that intention that I would like an interaction time with a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, not whatever you want to call them. I'd like that interaction. I'd like that opportunity to meet them, and to be able to learn from them, to see more of what they see. And they say once you put that out into the universe will bring it back to you. So I'm still waiting for that moment. But just to go out and clear my mind and go hang out in the woods, that's one of the best things to do, that I've found over the years, just even as a stress reliever.
Yeah,
Go for a walk in the woods and just let life float off you, and just take in the beauty of the woods and feel the energy coming from all the wildlife and all the plants and trees around you. Just take it in.
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. And I live in a city but there is a river nearby that has some rapids in it. And even this morning, it's a little chilly out, but I went and sat by the river and just let the river just take all my thoughts away because I just feel like it's so important that we are so caught up in thoughts all the time. And, I don't know about you guys, but my head just catches a thought and it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning. And, it's
Yep.
so important to go out and clear your mind because you can't be open to experiencing anything natural or supernatural when your mind's all clogged up.
yeah,
Yeah. Got to keep your mind open at all times, for them encounters and them experiences.
Right. Right. You miss a lot when your brain is too busy, I think. So it's good to clear your mind and step out into nature as much as you can. And not a lot of nature around me, but I find what I can and it really does help to be able to step out. And honestly, like, I'm 20 minutes out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. If I saw a Sasquatch or Nantinook or whatever you want to call it, in my neighborhood, I think that there would be a huge panic. Like there would just be a lot of panic going on because I don't think you could hide that. So I see why they
Mhm.
stick to the woods where they can have a clear mind and a clear existence. So
Definitely. So now, how often do you get to go out to the woods and try to interact with Bigfoot or look for him or anything like that? Is that just you get it on the show, or do you go out regularly to have these interactions at all? Or
Yeah, me and my wife would go out, walk the lake system, and we go as far as the end of the airstrip, sit and howl and whistle and click rocks together. Um,
does it work?
sometimes
Okay,
it does.
cool.
But
Good to know.
like, yeah, normally it's more at night than during the day.
And why is that? Is that just when you're available or when they seem to be more prevalent?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Um, at night is when, date night with the wife,
right?
and
I don't think my husband would go for that. I totally would, but I don't think my husband would be like, "Yeah, no, we're not going to go looking for Bigfoot on a date." No.
yeah,
Yeah, my wife wouldn't go for it either. Trust me, long walks in the woods or haunted houses, I'm down for that. She's not so much.
Yeah, same.
She,
Well, he'll do long
she'll,
walks in the woods, but yeah.
yeah.
you know,
I love that's a date night. That's that's perfect.
it's my place, my kind of place to go hang out.
Yeah.
I might have to take a venture up there and check you guys out sometime.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. Just keep in touch and
Oh, definitely. Well, heck, we've
Yeah.
been chatting back and forth. I think about a year and a half now. I think we've been friends on Facebook.
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah,
all
I'm new to
right.
this party.
Yeah,
It's nice to meet you.
starting to hang around with me, get to meet new people.
Yeah. Well, goes both ways. So we
It
know different
does.
people. Yeah, we know different people. I am
Yeah.
I am actually I would love to get up to Alaska. I haven't done that yet. That's still on my bucket list. Get up there, check out the wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some true peace and tranquility.
Mhm. I get
I
that in the
honest
Adirondacks, but go ahead.
I honestly would say try to stay away from the major cities. You know,
Mhm.
they're they're not even worth being.
Yeah.
As soon as you touch down, get the heck out of, like, if you land in Anchorage, just get in your vehicle and take off. Get out of Anchorage. It's Anchorage used to be a very nice place. After seeing so many of, you know Alaskans out on the road or out homeless and everything, it just destroys us. Like, it
Yeah.
hurts me. Like, we have all this land, you guys, you know, don't need to be living out on the street.
All right. You guys still have homesteading up there too, don't you?
Yeah,
Where if you find a chunk of land and you start posting up on it, you can apply to for it to be yours, right?
yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd think that more people would take advantage of that. I know I personally I'd love to be out in the middle of the woods somewhere living off the land, personally, because you get a lot less BS then.
Yeah,
Are you saying you don't people well? So
You've known me for a year and a half now, 2 years.
I
What do
know.
you think?
I think you're very social.
What I have to be?
Right?
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Yeah.
well, I want to thank you,
So
Guy, for. Do you have another question? I thought we were
I
done. I'm sorry. Go
I do
ahead.
have another question.
Awesome.
Now, when it comes to Bigfoot, have you ever experienced like how they say they see a lot of people are seeing like orbs and all that when he's in the area? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
No, no. I honestly haven't seen orbs. I've like seen the whole red eyes and the hoots and hollers and the knocks, you know, rock throwing, but never the orbs.
Okay.
Like,
And you mentioned red eyes with this, right? Like the amber color eyes that they say.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I've always heard of reports of the amber color eyes, but I know there's been some documentaries and some researchers that mentioned a blue color eye. And
Hmm.
that's something that kind of has fascinated me. I've always wondered, where this blue eye comes from out of these reports, because it's only in recent times that I've been hearing about this.
So my thoughts on that, because a lot of the eyes that we see is shining back at us at night
You know,
were blue. Like
okay,
like we never felt threatened unless we threatened first. And like, or if it was a certain time of the year, fishing was fishing time season, or fishing season was more of a, I don't know, more of a don't bother us. We're trying to stay healthy here, like get some fat on our bones before winter comes.
right.
That makes sense.
You know,
Summertime is a lot more busy for us because we're also putting fish away and making sure that we have our smoked salmon, our dried salmon, and you know all that other nice stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, food for the winter. That's an important thing. Yeah.
Very important, especially when you're out in the middle of
Yes.
nowhere. It's not like you can go down the road here to Walmart and grab some things.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely. So just a quick change of topic here. Do you have any experiences with UFOs up there? Because that's where a lot of different reports come up in that area, up in Alaska, and talk of the Alaskan Triangle and all that. So, have
yeah.
you ever experienced anything like that?
I've seen a few UFOs before. Like they weren't planes. Like you could you'd see that bright white light flashing on the tail or on the wing. We
Hmm.
wouldn't ever see that, and it would be flying in like a up and down zigzag circular motion. Just a couple weeks ago, me and my wife were out doing our date night, and we actually seen like a couple of them. Like we thought they were jets, big jets flying from different place to different place. It in Alaska you could hear that. Like you could hear the roar of the engine or the jets, and we weren't hearing anything. It was just dead quiet. It was uh it was pretty cool.
I was going to ask about noise because that's what I've heard from UFO reports is that there's no noise.
No noise.
Yeah.
Like we were able to watch it for a good few minutes, and then it just disappears. They both disappeared.
So what did they look like? Because I'm curious
Uh,
since he brought it up.
one had 30 lights, and the other one was just a bright light.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm.
Have you ever had contact with anyone from any of those crafts?
no. Well, not that I know of.
Okay. Not that you know of. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
That.
not that he remembers.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I know the times that I have had contact with different crafts, it's not like they've landed and people have come out and talked to me, but I could just kind of telepathically or maybe just like feel like the feeling is different when you're looking at something like that. Does that make sense? Like I always feel like more peaceful
Yeah.
whenever I see one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
It
like
it
that.
was it was more of a oh wow kind of moment for us, but like there were times where we would be fishing at night and everything, and we would lose a few hours, but it was more of a I think we're having too much fun and like didn't notice the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time does fly when you're having a good time.
Yeah.
You know, I've experienced that out in the woods, you know, in different investigations. You know, you go out and like, oh, just go out for a couple hours. You know, it's like 5, 6 hours later, and you're like, holy crap, the sun's gonna be up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been noticing time shifting anyway, and I'm wondering how much of that, because I'm always wondering something, but how much of that has to do with visitors from other worlds, you know, like how much of that is our time is, what do they call it? Time jumping. Like that's been brought up a lot lately, is time jumping. And I know I've been experiencing it more, but I don't know why I've been experiencing it more. And other people are bringing it up more too. So I'm just wondering, is that something that you experience as well? Like you feel like sometimes you're in a different timeline or a different kind of what am I looking for here? Different kind of reality, maybe? Like walking into a vortex and everything's looks the same, but it feels different. Do you ever have that going on up there?
Yeah, a few times we have had that. Like
Okay.
more like we go far for fishing. We do our own put our salmon eggs away for the winter, and a few times me and my wife had been down. It's the bay closer to Portlock at night, and my wife had told me, "Hey, something looks different here," and we would spend like a couple hours just looking around, like something does seem
Yeah,
a little
different.
off, like we could memorize everything, but we couldn't really like pinpoint what was different, like what it was. So yeah, we've came into a few of those, and we didn't stay long. Like we weren't too sure if it was good or bad, so we just kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, I've had experience, like I had that experience on top of Medicine Mountain in Wyoming where I walked like through these two posts that were in the ground and I felt like I entered into a completely different world. It didn't visibly look different, but it looked different. Like you were saying, there's just something different about this. And I almost felt like I was a visitor to another time. So I didn't stay long either because I wasn't sure how long that window would be open.
Yeah,
I didn't want to get stuck in another time I wasn't familiar with. So, yeah.
You never
Thank you
know.
for
That
sharing that.
could have
What?
been fun.
It could have been. It could have been. It didn't even feel like I was on the same planet, to be honest with you. It was very different. Yeah. It was like I walked through a portal to somewhere else. So I was just wondering if you had experienced that because I tend to experience things like that when I'm out away from people, more out in the wilderness, more out in the natural world, where I don't experience that so much, like maybe, in the city or in my own neighborhood. It seems to happen more out in nature. And I'm wondering, now that I'm talking about it, if maybe that's how the Nanticoke or the um, the Sasquatch move from place to place is through portals like that.
Well, Ron White was saying the same thing when we were doing filming. He said that the more you see Bigfoot, if 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 you have, what did he say? If you have an ounce of evil intent, the vortex or the doorway won't be open to you. If you have like like Bigfoot's reading people, and
Mhm.
if you see more than a few, you're around a portal or an entrance to a different place. And if you have good intentions, then they would like kind of like guide you to that, like not come up and say, hey, follow us, but
Right.
kind of like herd you to this portal or something, and you don't even know you walk in it. You walk in it and you just immediately feel like, hey, what the heck is going on? You could feel the difference, but it's for me it was more of a like didn't understand the feeling. Like I just wanted to get out of there. Like like you have those feelings like you need to get away from something instead of staying.
Okay.
It didn't feel harmful, but it just felt weird to me. Like, I was like, all right, babe, let's go.
Yeah, weird is a good description. It's
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
just feels weird, but I can't say I was uncomfortable, when I had that experience. And that's not the only one, it's just the one that jumps to mind. But I can't say I'm uncomfortable with those experiences. But after a while, I just kind of stand there and go, okay, why did I come through the portal? And then I start analyzing, and then I take all the fun right out of it.
Right.
That happens.
Yeah.
Gotta learn not to overanalyze things.
Yeah.
It's human
Easier
nature, though.
said than done.
Human nature.
It is. It is. Well, because we're constantly evaluating, am I safe? And that's like lizard brain stuff, right? That goes way back to caveman days where am I safe? What's around me? Can I get out of here if I need to? Is there a food supply here? Is there I mean, that's all stuff that happens so automatically that we just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that it does. That's just it's bred into us, I guess.
Mhm. Well, it's
Yeah.
survival instinct, you know. And I can't help but think that probably, the Sasquatch has a survival instinct too. And that, given the opportunity, I think that mankind would probably be the biggest threat to them because nothing else is going to mess with that. we
Yeah.
are we are definitely not the smartest species on the planet. Let me just put that out there.
Right.
I don't know that a bear is going to go up against a Bigfoot. They're just kind of going to go their separate ways. And yeah. But
Be
I do
interesting to
wonder
see,
about that.
though.
I just actually saw something that popped up on my phone about that, like bear versus Bigfoot. Something I don't know. I'll have to look for it, and if I find it, I'll send it to you.
All
Um,
right.
but yeah, I can't help but think that I mean, if we had portals available to us and we knew how to use them, wouldn't we?
Right.
I would.
I would. Yeah. I just kind of wonder where the portals go. So here goes my brain into full gear now. It took me until almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon to wake up, but here I am. All right. So,
See, with me, I'd be willing to jump in and see what's on the other side. Just go with the flow of things.
yeah.
Yeah. I would have did the same thing.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
that I don't have kids at home, yeah, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
When I had kids at home, no, I got to take care of the kids. But now I'd be more willing to do the same thing. Of course, I'm more willing to go exploring everything now than I used to be. So, as I go out and I talk to the Sasquatch, whether they're listening to me or not, I don't know. I'm just out there talking to them, and the extraterrestrials and the spirits and whatever else is out there. And I think that when we stay open to those possibilities, that we have more of those possibilities available to us.
Yeah. Open
like
mind, like I always say.
Mm-hmm. Go out there with the intention of having communication.
Yeah.
Open mind, open heart. The two of them together goes a long way in this world.
It sure does. It sure does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of love that you two have the same hairstyle. I'm just saying.
Mine's a little longer.
Mine's up in a bun.
Yeah.
But it is short. I had to cut it off, so.
Yeah, I cut about, 6 inches off a year ago in September for my sister when she had passed. So I've been slowly growing it back, but, if you ever get to see me in person, my hair's always pulled back. It's never down. 9 times out of 10, it'll be in a braid. Just the way I am. And got my last haircut for the year just about a week ago. Now I'll let the sides and everything grow out for winter, so I'm not so dang cold up here, but come spring, it comes right back off.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'll get to see you in your winter coat.
Yeah. Pretty soon.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
just, I'm going to throw out one more question at you, Guy. So what advice would you have for someone who wants to experience contact with the paranormal or supernatural world? I'm not even going to limit it to just Bigfoot, but from your experience, what would you suggest for someone who wants to experience that?
Have a good heart. Go into any situation with a good heart, good intentions. I haven't really got anything with the paranormal, but with Bigfoot, I would unintentionalize, like picking up trash. If I seen trash, I'd pick it up and put it in, a garbage bag, and not knowing if Bigfoot is watching as soon as I, start walking the trails. And we have four-wheeler trails, so garbage always ends up falling upon the four-wheelers and everything. And like picking up just little things like that, picking up garbage and walking it out, keeping the beaches and the river systems, the lake systems all clean and everything. It's more of a like okay, he has a good heart. I'll do one wood knock for him, say, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
I like that. Yeah.
So do I.
That's good advice anyway, but yeah, that's this is our home, people. Could you pick up your stuff? Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not that hard. It's really not that hard to not throw trash out your window.
Oh yeah. I'm a cigarette smoker, and I know, like, when I get down to the end of the cigarette, I knock out the tobacco out of the butt, and I put the butt in my back pocket because I don't want, to be throwing that around.
Yeah.
And I look at the tobacco that I leave behind. I'm sharing my tobacco, what I'm using, with whoever else is out there and whoever else is on the same plane as me. And I've gotten in the habit over the years, to take my butts with me. So I'm not polluting the earth. I'm not leaving garbage behind. And to me, it fits a double purpose. So I'm, honoring those out there, and I'm keeping the planet clean also.
Yeah, it's important. We don't have a planet B yet, so, we need to take care of planet A.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, anything else, Rez?
No, I think we're getting right about that time, so we're gonna
Yeah.
sign off here.
Did you have anything else you wanted to share with us, Guy?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for joining us and for listening to our podcast and our YouTube. Um, Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you get notifications of when we post a new show. And Rez, what else is there that I'm forgetting to say?
Well, you got the subscribe, you got the like. You can remember to follow us either on Facebook or YouTube. But we do ask that if you're following us on other platforms, just to jump over onto the YouTube channel, subscribe. It really helps.
Yes.
Our goal is at 1,000 subscribers to take this show live. So if you want to hear more of this with our guests and in a live format, which can be very interesting considering who you're talking with.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, hit
Yeah.
that like and subscribe. If you're looking to find out more about what I'm about or what my teams are about, check out our website, wisconsincaps.com, or check out Wisconsin Caps YouTube channel. We both we have stuff on there from cryptids to paranormal to a little bit of everything. So anything you guys want to promote?
Yeah, I would like to promote my team. The Adirondack Park Paranormal Society. Every Saturday morning, we release a new podcast, Apps Alchemy, and I believe that goes out on pretty much all the normal um, podcast outlets, whatever those are, Spotify and whatever. So we talk about all kinds of interesting stuff. And I know last season it was all about cold cases. We discussed a whole bunch of cold cases. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, hop on there. And thank you all so much for listening to this podcast and for, again, hitting the subscribe, the like, the bell. And thanks for coming back. And we'll see you again soon.